We're back. This is episode 9 of the Off the Court podcast. And we got a special guest, one of my favorite prospects that was in Arizona for the last handful of years. He is now at Georgia Tech being coached by Damon Stoudemire. Nait George, appreciate you coming on, bro, and talking to me for a little bit. How you doing today?
Of course, I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. We were just talking before, and I'm like, I was able to see you play against a tough ass CP3 team when the EYBL was here, which we'll get into in a bit. But you come from Dream City. I was just making sure all the things were right. So you had your freshman year in Canada. You moved down to Dream City. So we'll get into the back part of that though, in a second. How did you feel last year went with the team of Dream City that you were on?
The team last year went really well. We ended up finishing with state champs, and that year really felt like it was like a big gap for me where I kind of like improved my game a lot. Like that
Mhm.
game really I gained a lot of confidence. I was playing with a lot of guys I was already familiar with, like Bronson Chambers, Marquise, Matthew, and guys like that. So yeah, playing with them like it really helped my development, kind of being comfortable around them and yeah, playing my game.
What did you focus on throughout the season to help you get your game to progress to be able to play at the next level? You average around that 14 points mark, seven assists, 3 rebounds. So you're kind of a do it all guard for them. But what things did you focus on most with your coaching staff, with trainers, to help you continue to get better throughout the year?
My main focus right now, or what I was working on, was defense and kind of catch and shoot. Because I kind of already knew how to shoot off the dribble really well and kind of create for other guys, but I had to figure out how I could create for myself as well. So
Mm.
like getting to the paint and high finishes and things like that will translate to the next level.
So, like we were talking before we started recording, we're both from Canada, but complete opposite sides. And I feel like all Canadians have a joke in the US where like you'll tell someone that in the when you're down in the US and they're like, "Oh, I got a friend in Saskatchewan." I'm like, I'm not gonna know who
Yeah,
anybody
no,
is there because the only two
nobody knows
places
that.
you can
Yeah.
say maybe three places people go to in Canada are Vancouver, Montreal, and Toronto. You're from
Yeah.
Toronto. Um, you spent the freshman year there, and then you decided to come down to Dream City. What was it about Dream City that made you decide to move? Not just like across the country, but like to a completely different one. But what was kind of the all around thought and decision with you and your family about sending you down to come to Arizona?
So first was I had my cousin down there and my uncle, Noah George.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so they were down there and they had invited me over. They said like to bring my game to the next level. They're gonna bring me out there. So without hesitation, I said, yeah, I'm over there for sure. And my family is all fine with it because we're all family, we're close. So them doing that for me, it's a blessing. And I'm thankful.
So like with Dream City, it seems like it's continued to just rise up the rankings in prep ball. I said it, I think in my last podcast I did. I don't know if Canyon International is tied with Dream City, but I know there was kids that played for you like Dream City last year that were a part of Canyon International for the at least the AZ Compass Prep Fall League.
Right.
It seems like it has solidified itself, at least in my opinion, as the best run prep program in the state. What like being from Canada too, how did you hear about Dream City? Was it from your cousin and your uncle, or was there any like I'm sure because there's a lot of kids from the Ontario area. I know Yovan's another one that's from that area. But how did you hear about Dream City?
I heard about Dream City from Shaden Sharp. I seen he had committed there during the time,
Okay.
and Yo one too. So seeing those two go there, I said, yeah, this is a spot for sure.
Yeah, it's quite a program they've created, and like that, like Dream City continues to be on the rise. Like I said, the players they continue to bring in to develop. It's led to some NBA success, like you said with Shaden, who I was just going to bring up. What was it like being in the practices, going at those guys throughout the last couple of years, and it seeming like all of them have the same focus, just as you?
Seeing them, it's like kind of realizing where you got to be to get to that level. Being with them in practice, you see how hard they work. You see like the talent gap, like what they're able to do. It's just kind of like it just inspires you just to work harder because you could get to where they are because they were just with you in that same time. So
Mm-hmm.
seeing that it really helped my kind of like my vision and really showed me that I could get to that level.
What was the practices like? Like I'm sure like the closed ones when there was like no college coaches sitting in, I'm sure they like were already going pretty hard. Do you have any
Yeah.
favorite moments from these last couple of years with them?
Shoot, favorite moments? Uh, nah, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that happened, just like posters, like body bags, all that type of stuff. But I can't, like, the list just goes on. I can't really give like a specific, like, but there's a lot of moments like posterized and all that stuff.
So this past summer, you were also able to play with Arizona Unity, which a lot of the Dream City kids I know played on too, as well as a lot of the AIA kids out here like Cam and Elijah. Um,
Right.
it seemed to help your recruitment as well. I think playing. I know you were talking with me before. You're at Georgia Tech now, but you were going to reclassify if it worked out in that way.
Right.
How did that come about? And was the experience on what some would say playing on the biggest stage in high school basketball, meaning the EYBL, how did it help you continue to get better?
Playing there, you're just surrounded by like the best players. So in order to play with the best, you got to be the best. You gotta come there and show up. So playing on that stage really helped me a lot too, just because like those guys are bringing attention from other college coaches. So they could come there looking to find that guy, but they
Mm-hmm.
could also see you if you're performing at that high level. So playing with them, yeah, that really helped my game a lot, getting that exposure.
What was your experience like on Unity? Like I told you before, I got to see you play CP3, which now it has like two top 10 recruits in Drake and Isaiah. And then you had Bishop Boswell, who just committed to Tennessee, another kid that was committed to Wake Forest. And I know that just the EYBL as a whole, like, was just loaded with guys. But what was your whole experience like being able to play in Peach Jam too, and just the all around? What was your summer like being a part of that team?
Oh, my summer was great. Like playing with that team, being able to lead the team and be the point guard, they made it easy for me. A lot of all the guys on the team, you could talk to them, they could take constructive criticism. So they really made it easy for me and they made my job really easy. So it's a big shout out to them. And we were cool. We're brothers off the court, on the court. So we had that bond that really helped us get to PJAM too. So it was a great experience.
It's such an interesting thing too, because I noticed um it seems like a lot of club teams are like open doors for random kids, and like it just seems like some kids are on one team one week and then they're on another the next. I know with KJ, I had KJ Johnson on here the other week, and he was a
Right.
late addition to the Unity team as well. Same with the kid that's with Dream City or Canyon International now, who is at IMG. I totally forgot his name. You would know him. You
Oh,
play.
Amir.
Yeah, Amir. I saw him this week, and I was like, I swear I just saw that guy play with IMG back in December.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
was there a bit of worry for you at any point during the summer of like maybe my spot isn't like confirmed, or like I'm going to keep it? Am I going to have to find a new club team to finish out my senior year?
No, 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 no. I think it was all good. I didn't even really know him like that. And he kind of just made the decision kind of like, I don't know, I think in August or something. But my cousin, yeah, he did all that stuff. He helped recruit, helped bring him over. But yeah, I wasn't really there for that for his time for when he came.
Got you. Okay. Um, you played well enough on the circuit with Unity, and it led to you gaining a couple more offers and ultimately joining Georgia Tech. What sold you on Georgia Tech that made it the place for you?
Number one was the coach being Damon Stoudemire. So his leadership and him being at that level and him being a guard, a high level guard, and excelling at that, it kind of just opened my eyes a lot because like I could learn a lot from him,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the love I got from all of them. Everyone was down to earth. They told me what I could become. They told me I would develop over here. And that's really what I'm looking for, a place to develop and really take my game to that next level. And they're the ones for that. And
And
then
he,
another, pardon me?
no, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say it's close to home as well. And
Yeah,
it's on a high stage too. So
yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure his experience coaching with the Celtics these last couple of years too. Did he sell you on anything of things he saw in you that reminded him of guys he coached with, like with Boston, with Marcus Smart or Derek White or anything? Because I know he kind of took the job. Like, was it mid-season last year, or like, because he was kind of a late hire, I feel like.
yeah, I think shoot, I don't know when it was, but I think it's shoot. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't know when he was hired, but
But speaking of Damon Stoudemire, when he took over the program, he started to make his own moves, bringing the players that he wants to build a culture with. Was there anything specific that he said to you that sold you on joining them over the other schools that were talking to you?
Yeah, he was telling me that I can come and get impactful minutes, just play my role, handle the ball well, limit turnovers, and hit my open shots. Because you know that I could shoot, I could dribble. But one thing he really tells me now is just play defense and be a lot more physical, and that'll get me where I want to be.
What has it been like in practices? Because you did make the move out there this summer. I know training camps for most of the colleges are live right now. I know you posted a couple photos of things that are going on, but excuse me. What has it been like though, being in the ACC too? It's just high level players everywhere. I'm sure just on your team too, but around the entire conference. But well, yeah, what has it been like throughout the first couple of weeks of getting to know this team and getting a feel for what you guys have?
So at first I came here, I didn't really know really more a lot about college basketball, but when I came, like I do, but I didn't know really like the big gap. There's a lot of a lot more physicality,
Mm.
uh, a lot of shot makers, like really tough shot makers, and being around it literally just gets you better. All it does is develop you and just take your game to that next level. So seeing all their tough shot making abilities and their physicality and just how fast they are and quick and physical they are, it really opens your eyes. So it's a really great experience.
Being from Canada too, you moved down here at a young age. Did you see the difference in competition like immediately when you made the move? Because you were able to play at least 1 year in Ontario before making the move. So when you made that switch, were you like, this is completely different? Because I didn't get to play high school basketball. I was really good in middle school because it's middle school, and then I show up here and there's like 6'4" dudes my freshman year of high school.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't do anything about this. But did you have like a culture shock moment? Was there anything that kind of stood out to you when you made the move down about American high school basketball compared to what Canada basketball is?
Yeah, the big switch for me was kind of like just how big they are down here in America. Like in Canada, you don't really see like a 7 footer or a 6'10" guy on in the eighth grade. Like when I first came down there, I was there with Maper Maker and Mathion Maker,
Okay.
and having them around me was just like just lobs, 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 and having that is like I didn't experience that in Canada. Like I would throw lobs to my other guys, but they weren't like that 6'6", 6'7", or 6'10", 7 foot kind of build. So that was a really big difference for me. And even in the competition too, like there's a lot of buckets in America, like I could go
Yeah.
get a bucket. So
Yeah, absolutely. I want to ask you though, with how well Dream City has recruited from Canada to come here, what what is your thought on like the talent in Canada? You got Miles Sadler, I know, which is insane. Your cousin Noah is super. His game has developed a ton. I got to see him play these handful of weeks. His guard play is on a completely another level. You got Jovan and there's so many other guys coming up, like and Jayon too, I didn't even mention.
yeah.
Like, what can you speak to regarding the talent that I know it's all over the US, but specifically Dream City? What are some thoughts you have on the type of Canadian talent that's coming down to Arizona?
They're special. A lot of guys coming down right now that I seen that are new additions there too are really nice. So kind of seeing this stuff coming from Canada, really like I love to see it. Like I love to see all my guys from Canada eat. So seeing that is like it's not what it used to be. Like when we first came to Arizona, it wasn't as much people as there is now. But
Right.
seeing it now is like really like eye opening. I love to see it.
And seeing like the national team too with Shea and everyone hates him, but Dylan Brooks balled out on the world
Yeah.
stage. You got RJ, Lou Dort, Jamal hopefully is going to play in the Olympics, but
Yeah.
there's so many guys at the league that are successful being from places like you. I know Shea's from Ontario too.
Yeah.
What type of motivation does that give you being able to see guys from that maybe you knew about back in like the sixth, seventh grade that are on and being absolute stars in the league?
Seeing that is really like it's like it was a great experience for me. Seeing those people come up from that is like it just really shows me where I could be. So I
Mm-hmm.
kind of built a lot of my motivation from that. And my uncle's been around all that stuff for a while, so he knows what it looks like, and he's really prepared me for these moments. So he shaped who I am, and I feel like he told me I could get there. So
If people are finding out about you for the first time right now, how would you describe your game in a few words? In 3 words, how would you describe your game to people?
3 words. Shoot. Uh, I say shoot. I say a I say a pass first score.
Mm.
Yeah, I feel like I'm really good at distributing the ball. I can pass the ball really well. Like I'm really good at creating for my teammates and being able to knock down shots too. I feel like I can create my own shots as well. Was what I built over these last couple of years. So that's how to describe in 3 words.
I don't know how big of a role you're going to be playing with Georgia Tech this year, but for people that are going to be able to see you play, not just in college basketball, in probably honestly one of the best conferences in college basketball outside of maybe the SEC. Like I feel like the
Yeah,
ACC and the Big East too. Like those are kind of the two that stand out for me besides the ACC. Um, what can people expect to see from you this upcoming season?
shoot. Me competing. I'm gonna be competing for sure. So whenever I get up in the game, I gotta compete. You guys will see me hit open shots. I'll knock down my shots, create for my teammates lobs. So yeah, that's what you'll see from me.
Who are the people you see most in yourself? I know there's, I'm sure, a ton of guys from Canada in the league now that you can say, guard wise, especially. But is there anybody specifically you watch a ton of film on, try to emulate your game to theirs, pick pieces of theirs, and add it to yours?
Yeah, I take out of Trey Young's game and Shea's game. I take out of Trey Young's game just for his shot making ability.
Mm-hmm.
Him able to pull from the logo just opens up a wide range of options. So seeing that kind of like and watching him on film, his floaters, that really inspires me as well. So I try to get that into my bag. And I say Shea too, just because of his pace. His pace, him playing at his own speed, because I'm really not that fast. So seeing that like just really opens my eyes, and I learn a lot from Shea. From
Shea,
watching.
Shea's one of my favorite players to watch in the league. I mean, just especially the pace because he does play at the pace he wants to, and everybody else pretty much has to adapt. You saw it with
Exactly.
OKC, and then I think you saw it a lot more at the World Cup this past summer.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he would just take control of games, and like nobody could do anything about it. He's a guy that I hope a lot of kids are taking notice of because I feel like how he plays, especially as a bigger guard too. That's the way guards I feel like are going to play like more instead of the Steph Curry type of guard,
Right.
if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
What was the first thing you noticed about Shea's game that you were like, I got to keep watching more tape on this guy?
Just how no one could stop him, and for how slow not slow, but
I know what you mean
how he
though.
slows the game now. Yeah, it's like what like why can't these defenders stay in front of him? And then like he'll hit you with a bump too, and it's like these guys go flying, and it's like and he doesn't get called for offensive foul. So just seeing that like the bump, I try to learn that. I'm trying to get it into my bag.
I saw there's a guy in California named the Guard Whisperer. I don't know if you've ever heard
Oh
of
yeah,
him,
I've heard him.
but
Yeah,
Shea trains with him or trained with him this past summer, like or these past couple of summers. So I was able to like see things that he was working on, and then like it would cut to like in-game play from the regular season. I'm like, he's doing exactly what he's been working on the entire
100%.
summer. Um,
Yeah,
I want to get back to Georgia Tech for a second as we kind of wrap up. With it being in the ACC, you got Duke, you got Miami, North Carolina, Clemson. There's so many other teams too. Notre Dame. Who are you
right.
most looking forward to playing against? Is there any specific stadiums too? I know Cameron Indoor is probably a given, but who
Yeah.
are you most looking forward to playing against in your first season at Georgia Tech?
Ooh, Duke for sure. Because Duke got the name, Duke got all the hype. But I just want to go out there and just and show everybody that we can beat Duke and that we're a team that's gonna shock the ACC this year for sure. So playing against them will be like a big and getting a win is gonna be a big like eye opener for a lot of people.
As we wrap up too, what type of team should people expect out of Georgia Tech?
Toughness.
Mm.
Some competitors for sure. What coach is trying to get into us is just compete, no matter what. Let's say like our shots aren't dropping, but as long as you compete, you could build yourself out of that game, and you can still come out with a win.
Mm-hmm. Well, Nate, as we wrap up, I appreciate you chopping it up with me for a little bit. How we end every show is favorite on-court shoe. I know in the EYBL you probably got some nice care packages and some nice gifts from Nike, but Georgia Tech's an Adidas school. What's been your go-to shoe during training camp? I know Anthony Edwards is coming out with his own shoe, so
Oh yeah,
I'm sure you guys are going to
get
get a couple of pairs of those. But is there any specific shoes you've been rocking with recently, and what can we expect from you to wear this upcoming season?
Ooh, yeah, for sure. Those Anthony Edwards, for sure. Those are beautiful. Those are nice. I'll probably say my go-to shoe right now, what I've been hooping in a lot, is the Trae Young 2s, like a GT Georgia Tech edition. So
Okay.
those are really been comfortable for me. They're light, so it's been my shoe.
Since you are in Atlanta, my last question, any good food spots you found? I don't know how much time you got to like just go and hang out and enjoy the city, but is there anything dope you've enjoyed about Atlanta so far being there?
Insomnia cookies. Yeah, my guy Alan down here put me on. Yeah, Insomnia cookies for sure. Yeah.
Well, hopefully you can get an NIL deal with them and you become like one of the faces of them.
Yeah. Their cookie China after Crumble, their cookies are better than Crumble. I don't
Oh,
care. Yeah, their cookies are
okay.
better than Crumble. Yeah.
Well, if I'm ever out in Atlanta, I'm definitely going to have to pop out and go there. But
Yeah.
Nate, I appreciate you coming on and chopping it up with us. Anything to shout out before we get out of here?
Shout out to all my AZ guys. Keep working. And shout out to Off the Court podcast. Thank you for having me again.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Always. Well, I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Make sure to go follow us on all platforms at offthecourt.pod on Instagram and TikTok. And this has been another episode of the Off the Court podcast. See you guys next week.